Hello everyone and welcome to the frankly stunning Pyrenees. We're here for rounds 5 and 6 of the Enduro World Series 2021. Over the next 4 days, we are going to be bringing you all the action from right here at the Michelin EWS Loudenvielle. If you've missed out so far, then you'd better get caught up. It's been quite a roller coaster. Yes, those weighty gold medals, the hardware that is up for grabs this weekend. But unfortunately for the Enduro World Series racers, kind of feels like there's never been a more difficult time to win one. Joining me as ever is my good friend and colleague, Rory Cunningham, sports coordinator for the Enduro World Series. Rory, what a stunning corner of France we are in.
It is, Rick. We're in the hot Pyrenees region. I think it's pretty evident from the backdrop behind us and the gradient on some of those slopes. It's going to provide some pretty incredible mountain bike racing this week.
Yeah, the gradient and the dirt here in Loudenvielle, absolutely perfect for mountain bike racing. Let's take a look at the course. 5 stages await then, some local favourites in there alongside some lift assistance. All the stages built around the fantastic event hub that is the Pyrenees Bike Festival to make things really easy for all the fans and teams to get around. It's been over 2 years since we were in France to race. It's a special part of the world. It's the home of bike racing, isn't it?
It is. Bike racing is almost like a religion in France, Rick. The fans come out. It's always so much passion in a French bike race, and yeah, I hope this one's no different.
Well, if you want religious fervour and passion, you had probably better look no further than Rory and I's attempt at a course preview. Here's what happened earlier in the week. Rory, I don't know what to say about this because you've decided that the first trail out for us today should be the Queen stage, which is of course the toughest of the weekend. Why have you brought us all the way to the top of Dolmens?
This is a pretty special one, Rick. I mean, we're up quite a bit from the town now. It's grass. It looks like a pretty gentle start, but this thing, once it gets going, it gets going. I reckon the middle wood section, it's probably 7 or 8 minutes primarily on the brakes. It's that steep, and then finishes. You've got a little climb up past the castle, finishes down by the lake. It's some stage.
Right, that's not really reassured me in any shape or form, but let's give it a go, see what it's like. Right, Dolmens then. So Rory assures me this really is a stage of 2 halves, big fast open stuff up here, and then into the woods, which he promises me are extremely steep. So nice loose dirt here, and a lot of options. You can see how wide the trail is. Some of these turns may change, may blow out. You might see riders having to search to find a good catch. Lots of rock though, lots of grip. Just turn after turn. A bit steeper now. Little tight catch berms. It's keeping you on your toes. It feels like you're almost on the brakes the whole time. Shimano XTRs keeping me on track. Tight switchback here. A couple of big steps into there. You've got these kind of big, steep compressions. Just had to concentrate there, not say anything. Deploy the land anchor. I think you have to go back to 2018 flat wheel for a stage as steep as this. Oh, backing her in. These little traverses just give you enough rest. Just prep yourself mentally for the next section. But there's just no let off. It's gonna do me up here. Mate, I've got longer levers. There's no replacement for displacement. Wait, see, look, I'll do them here. Done him. Trying to keep a Rory Cunningham behind me. Whoa! Nice slaty dirt down here. Oh, this is loose now. Oh! And down to the lake. What a stage! Well done. Somebody has to come second. Good effort. So an absolutely superb stage there. You can watch more from our little course preview later on in the show. But before that, it's enough of the two of us. Let's catch up with those riders at the sharp end of things. We caught up with some of the top movers and shakers at Shakedown earlier in the week.
Fun looking trails, yeah, but I guess it's dusty at the moment, but we'll see what happens with the weather. Like, there's a huge list you could write of all of the girls that are up there, so I think just gonna have some fun and just hope everyone has a good week.
Looks like this place will be steep, loose, and a lot of like open, classic like French style tracks, so yeah, looking forward to it. With the points, at least it's me and Jack, so like as long as I can stay near him or in front of him, that's the goal at the moment.
Oh mate, I'm ready to race. I'm over just training every day. Obviously Richie, we've been back and forth all season, so yeah, but I think there'll be a couple fast Frenchies up there as well.
Melanie Poujan then still leading the Pro Women's title race, but we heard there from Hattie Harnden too. She's actually tied on points with Isabeau Cordurier. Morgan Schauer still in the hunt as well, of course. But Rory, it feels like after that first win in La Tuile, there's a lot of momentum behind young Hattie, isn't there?
Yeah, we always knew it was going to be a case of when, not if, she was going to take her first win. I don't think either of us expected it to be so soon.
I think it's actually on camera, isn't it? We said maybe a podium by the end of the year, but then she went and won one.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, that win's only going to do the world of good for her confidence. It's looking like it's going to be another big physical week here in Loudenvielle. That's going to play into her hands, but I'm just fascinated to see how it's all going to pan out. You know, Melanie Poujan in the lead, Isabeau Cordurier just won the French Championship, Hattie Harnden off the win at the last round. I mean, it's difficult to pick one of those three, isn't it? They've all got a chance of winning.
And in the pro men's then, it's Jack Moyer, Richie Rude. Richie narrowly leading the championship by just 5 points. Jesse Melamed still in contention in third place, but I'm just going to come out and ask you, who do you think is going to be leading that particular championship come Sunday evening?
It's like asking the question, what's more, 6 or half a dozen? They've been inseparable until this point. I mean, Jesse, he's going to have to do something special this week. Realistically, he has to win both to get back in this title fight. Jack and Richie, I mean, if I'm honest, I think we win a piece again. Richie win the first one, Jack will win the second, and we'll pretty much go into the next round tied as well. 4
races obviously in the books already this season. If you have missed any of the action from them, all the highlights are available on GMBN. But those 4 races have given us some numbers to crunch, and there are some interesting trends. Let's take a look at those now. So in terms of the total amount of time racing, just over an hour and 47 minutes. Jack Moyer is 25.43 seconds quicker than Richie Rude. That is the equivalent of just 0.42%. Rory, we've had races won by well under half a second this year as well. It feels like those two really are in a class of two.
Yeah, those two have been inseparable. Every stage has come down to what it feels like 1 second. They've not been able to get away from one another. We've had weather in there, we've had different stages, and you know, at the end of every race, it's those two, 1 and 2, and the margins are just oh so small. So how is this going to be any different? I don't see it. I think it's going to be down at the wire again.
Well, I did promise you some trends. Let's just have a look at an interesting stat in the pro women's. So as you can see, Moyer isn't the only person topping the timesheets, but not the standings. Isabeau Cordurier, Morgan Schauer both have faster cumulative times compared to Hattie Harnden, but Harnden is boxing clever and winning more points than them. So it's not just about being fastest on the stages, it's about being fast on specific stages, and Hattie is executing that perfectly, isn't she?
She is, she's doing it perfectly. She's got Tracy Mosley in her corner. I mean, she's so wise, multiple Enduro World Series champion. And yeah, it's just coming down to her picking her time, picking the stages she's really going to attack on. And more often than not, it seems to be the Queen stage. She's gathering those extra points. She's coming strong at the end of the race. And she's just stacking them up race after race, and she's right in this title fight.
Clever, clever racing from Hattie Harnden then. And of course, you can't have clever bike riding without some slightly less clever bike riding. Here's the second part of our course preview. Right, Rory, that last stage, one of the most perilous yet fun things I have ridden in a long time. Are we in for more of the same at stage 4 Val d'Aube?
Well, we're actually, Dolmens is right on the far side of the valley behind us. We're now on the opposite side of the hill. We're at 2,200 metres, the top of the Privilege lift. We've got Val d'Aube behind us on the right hand side and the Privilege stage just over there. Very, very different. These are far more open, up high on the kind of pistes, completely different dirt. It's going to be completely different.
What you're saying is then, it's going to be very different.
Very different.
Let's go.
Okay, so Val d'Aube, 2,200 metres up in the Pyrenees and some nice big fast off-camber turns to start. Got out there into this real nice fast trail down the side of the hill. Real nice powdery dirt. Just some really nice high speed turns, but the support's all in the right places. No pedaling if you can just link these together. Little rocky section here, couple little left rights, and into this big fast straight.
A few surface changes in here as well. Comfortably over 2,000 metres up. Oxygen. It's like breathing through a mouldy football sock. Here we are then in what is a quintessentially French component of a mountain bike racetrack, and that is the wide grassy turn. Now I put my bike sideways here. You can see how much real estate we've got to play with. Rory, talk us through just how tricky these things are to master.
Well, that's the beauty of flat grass turns, Rick. They just come in all shapes and sizes. This one, we've got a really steep, quite narrow entrance back there, a big kind of compression in the middle, and then where we are here, it really opens up, and it's so synonymous with the sport in France, and just, yeah, I mean, if you get them right, they're incredible.
To the untrained eye, it looks really straightforward, doesn't it? You've got loads of room, dead wide, you can come all the way down here, then cut a straight line, you can go up there, you can do anything, but the grass conceals a lot of holes, a lot of bobbles, changes of camber.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, we can see this one, it's slightly off camber the whole way, so it's not like a berm, you can't lean into it, there's not much weight through your wheels. You can have to lean the bike and search for the traction, rather than just leaning into it and knowing it's going to be there.
Can you show us a couple of approaches then? Talk us through them.
Well, you're pretty good at hanging a leg off around the inside, so maybe I'll leave that one to you. And I'll try and do the more measured feet up approach.
Alright, let's do it. He's only a junior world champion. I'm going to try and stay really tight to the inside. Front end wants to go. And on the pedals. Into a hole.
And then down this track we've got a little river crossing coming up. Square that off, hit it straight, and a final little sprint to the finish. What a stage, and completely different to Dolmens, which is just over here.
So there we have it. Honestly, getting off the bike at the end of one of those days with everything still intact as it was at breakfast, including the breakfast itself, is one of my favourite parts of the week. But that was good fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, incredible stages here in Loudenvielle, Rick. I mean,
can't not have fun right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an incredible race, isn't it?
Well, joining us all week here in Loudenvielle is, of course, GMBN's own Neil Donoghue, and he has been down in the pits checking out to see if there's any new machinery and what the pros will be throwing their legs over ahead of these two action-packed rounds of Enduro World Series racing.
Thanks, Rick. I'm down in the pits. This race is actually part of the Pyrenees Bike Festival, so there's loads of stuff going on. It's going to get super busy. We've got a pump track, got an airbag, but the racers aren't there. They're up in the hills practicing the 5 stages today, so loads to learn up there. Got a real mix of some steep technical stuff and then some flatter, faster stuff. So it's going to be a bit of a compromise on bike setup. I think racers we're looking to set up their fork as much as anything so it doesn't dive in too much on the steeper stuff. I think it's time for a little walk around the pits to see what we can see. Okay, a Spy Shots exclusive. It's in my hands, but I don't know much about this bike. It's a new Orbea Rallon, I would guess. It's a 29er. We've got this funky wrap on here that's sort of covering up some of the secrets. I can see that the seat tube is super straight. We've got a really big drop on here, so big insertion depth there. And I can see it looks like there's some sort of storage in there for your sandwiches. What's this? Ooh, it's a tool. It's magnetic. Other than that, details are very thin on the ground. This is Lord Charles's bike, but there's a few of them inside this tent.
Here then is how the next 4 days of racing shape up. The 5th round of the 2021 Enduro World Series takes place from the Pyrenees Festival bike on Thursday. We then race again for round 6, beginning with the pro stage on Saturday evening before another big day beckons on Sunday. We will do our best to bring you all the highlights and all the action from those races just as quickly as we can on race day once racing has finished. Rory, thank you for your company. Been a pleasure. We should do it again sometime.
As always, Rick, feelings mutual.
Don't forget, you can join us right here on GMBN across the weekend's worth of racing, as well as on the Enduro World Series channels on all our social media outlets to stay up to date with the Michelin EWS Loudenvielle as it happens. We'll see you then.